Have you ever felt the world tilt on its axis, just for a second? That's what it was like, sitting in my parked car on a quiet street in Chicago, the blue glow of my wife's phone in my hand. It was 2 a.m. The screen wasn't showing illicit texts or hidden photos. And under the saved addresses below our home on North Clark Street was a second pin labeled with a simple, chilling name, Home Number 2. It was an address in Lincoln Park I'd never seen before, a place she'd never mentioned. And in that silent humming car I knew my life, the one I'd meticulously built over a decade, was a carefully constructed lie. I had to know what was behind that door. If you genuinely enjoy our stories, please subscribe to the channel. Tell us where you're from, and what time it is right now. It's always fascinating to know how far our story flows. The humiliation came first, a hot, creeping wave that started in my gut and spread through my veins. Sarah and I were the golden couple. That's what they called us at the firm's galas at the Drake Hotel. Me, the steady, reliable architect, and her, the dazzling PR executive who could charm a statue. But now every shared laugh at a dinner party, every knowing glance she gave me from across the room felt like a scene from a YYYY. A horror movie where I was the only one who couldn't TC the monster. Her behavior had been off for months, a slow drift into a sea of distance. Late nights at the office became more frequent. Her phone always face down on the nightstand, buzzing with notifications she'd dismiss with a wave of her hand. Just work, honey. A new campaign launch. It's brutal. I believed her. Wanted to. The discovery was a death by 1,000 cuts. A credit card receipt from a restaurant on Randolph Street for a dinner for two on a night she was supposedly working late. A faint scent of a men's cologne I didn't wear clinging to her coat. Then came the Waze discovery. That was the kill shot. Drove to home number 2 the next day. It was a sleek, modern brownstone. I parked across the street, my heart hammering against my ribs, and I waited. An hour later, a black BMW pulled up. A man in a tailored suit got out. Mark, a rival executive from a competing firm. Smug, handsome, the kind of guy who oozed unearned confidence. Then the front door opened, and Sarah was there, greeting him with a kiss that was anything but professional. They looked untouchable, framed in the doorway of their secret life, laughing. That's when I broke. I didn't confront them. I just drove away, the city lights blurring through my tears. I pulled over by the lakefront, the cold Chicago wind whipping off the water, and I let out a scream that was swallowed by the vast, indifferent darkness. The loyal husband was gone, shattered into a million pieces. In his place, something cold and hard began to form. Strategy. Ruthlessness. Sarah had made a fool of me. They both had. They had no idea I was an architect. I don't just build buildings. I design systems. And I was about to design the most intricate, devastating trap they had ever seen. For the next 6 months, I became a ghost in my own home. I gathered my proof with chilling precision. I hired a private investigator who documented every meeting, every kiss, every overnight stay at the brownstone. I installed a keylogger on her laptop, capturing emails where she and Mark not only planned their trysts, but openly mocked me. "He's so trusting, it's almost sad," one of her messages read. I saved every file, every photo, every audio recording to a secure, encrypted drive. I met with the best divorce attorney in Chicago, a shark named Ms. Albright. We didn't just plan for a divorce, we planned for a demolition. I quietly moved all our joint assets into accounts she couldn't touch. Leveraging a clause in our prenuptial agreement she'd laughed at when we signed it, I was building a case, brick by painful brick. The public exposure was my masterpiece. Sarah was spearheading a major charity gala for children with disabilities, her firm's biggest PR event of the year. The mayor was there, news crews from every local station. The city's elite packed into the grand ballroom of the Palmer House Hilton. Sarah was on stage, radiant in a glittering gown, giving a speech about integrity and family values. My cue, as she spoke, the massive screen behind her, meant to display a slideshow of smiling children, flickered, and then it began. A photo of her and Mark kissing outside the Lincoln Park brownstone. An email, her words mocking my trust, blown up for hundreds to see. A short, grainy video of them entering a hotel room together. The room fell silent. The only sound was Sarah's sharp, horrified gasp into the microphone. The flashes of cameras were blinding. She was ruined. Her firm fired her the next morning for violating their code of conduct. The charity publicly disavowed her. Her face was plastered all over the local news, the hypocrite of the year. Mark's wife, who I'd anonymously sent a duplicate package of evidence to, filed for divorce, taking him for everything. In our own divorce proceedings, the evidence was so overwhelming that the judge granted me everything I asked for, citing her moral and financial infidelity. She was left with nothing. No job, no husband, no lover, no money, and a reputation so toxic she couldn't even get a lunch meeting in the city. I see her sometimes, a shadow of the woman she once was, working a retail job in a suburban mall. She avoids my gaze, her arrogance replaced by a hollowed-out shame. I didn't feel triumph or joy, I just felt quiet. The architect in me had designed a perfect system of collapse, and it had worked flawlessly. The house on North Clark Street is empty now, filled only with the echoes of a life that was never real. The end.